Very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Sports Tonight. This is the Tuesday night edition of the show. Promises to be exciting, fun-filled as always. My name is Tony Ibitoye. I'd like to say a very big thank you to you for joining us. And of course, I'll leave you with this promise that if you stay with us for the next 50 minutes, that we'll be bringing this show to you. We will inform you, entertain you, and of course, educate you about happenings all around the game, not just all around sports, not just in Nigeria. We will do that across the globe as well. I'm not alone. Let me just quickly introduce to you those starting off Sports Tonight with me this Tuesday from my immediate right, Tunde Koiki. Good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
And of course, Yemi Adebayo is also on the show. And Yemi, good to have you as well.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Before we go into what we have lined up, let's just quickly touch up and talk about last deadline transfer days deals. And for Arsenal, it was welcoming Danny Welbeck. Manchester United welcoming Falcao on loan. A lot of interesting moves on the last day of the season. Yeah. I keep asking myself, I hope one day the transfer window in Nigeria will be as celebrated, as followed, as exciting. Maybe the same amount of money.
It was really stunning, actually, because it shows you just how passionate people are about football all over the world, especially English football. As many as 22,000 tweets per minute. It was almost record-breaking. The kind of activity that went on Twitter. The amount of tweets sent yesterday alone regarding football transfers was almost unbelievable. There were some record-breaking movements in terms of figures on social media. People tracking transfers, shadow transfers, whether this player was coming or going, it was really, really massive. And the fact that some clubs actually did make some purchases and some didn't will go along with determining where the title will spring at the end of the season for many clubs, both in England and the rest of Europe. So, but for me, it was quiet for some clubs. It was a massive move for some clubs. Some clubs are now particularly somewhat stronger, the likes of Hull City in England. They made some particularly interesting moves as well. So transfer deadline day was very interesting, actually.
For the first time in a long while, I may be wrong. I mean, maybe I'm not giving very informed information here. I've not seen Arsenal do the volume of business they've done this season in a long time. I mean, they brought in a whole lot of players. It looks like Arsenal are now beginning to, No. Am I wrong or am I correct?
I think you're wrong. I think the manager's just filling the places. Most of the players that he bought
have gone to some other clubs.
There are spaces in the club that he needed to fill. And even at deadline day yesterday, most people were still expecting him to buy more players. Unfortunately, he was somewhere in Rome, for the charity match. But
it did. It got well on the last day.
Not the kind of striker. I don't know if I'm speaking for Arsenal fans, but
just speaking for yourself.
Not the kind of striker you would want. But of course, he just shows the drawing power of the English Premier League. He was talking about Hull City. It amazes me how
Leicester. Clubs can be also got a good
clubs in England can attract
some of the best players from
somebody playing in a top club.
Modest clubs in England are some of the best players across Europe.
I still wonder, maybe it's the money or maybe it's the quality.
It has to be the money. Because you look at someone like Radamel Falcao, easily arguably one of the best strikers.
1 year on loan, and the amount of money is getting is a record.
He's playing a £6 million loan. He'll be paid. Some people say anything north of £300,000 a week in terms of his salary.
That's outrageous.
That's outrageous. This is a man who has won the Europa Cup back-to-back with Porto and Atletico Madrid. Has never really stamped his authority on the Champions League. Yet he's going to a club that only has probably the FA Cup and the English Premier League to look forward to, nothing on the international front. So you wonder why someone of Falcao's caliber would go. If not for the money, I can't think of anything else.
It should be the money. Join us in this discourse. It's an interesting one. Did your club buy well? And then the Nigerian perspective to it. When are we going to have this kind of frenzy around players moving across the Nigerian scene? I know it will happen one day. I hope it's soon. That we'll begin to monitor Nigerian players in Nigeria and celebrate their moves across clubs like we're celebrating moves across Europe. But join us in this discourse and let us know what you feel. We're not going to be talking transfers alone. That's just to whet your appetite. We have a whole lot more lined up for you because 4 days from now, the Eagles will be starting the march to retaining the trophy they won in South Africa 2 years ago, AFCON 2015 in Morocco. we'll talk about it as well. We will also reflect on the crisis-looking Nigerian football. We can't but end or go through the show without talking about it. So give us your own opinion. Give us your thoughts to the issues as we raise them on the program tonight. The platforms are showing on your screen. Channels, iPhone Sports, and of course, if you want to tweet at us, tweet at those handles on your screen, channels_sports, at Tony Bitray, that's my handle. We'll be able to read your comments real time on the show tonight. All right, so that's just for those of you that want to get across to us and be a part of what we're doing on Sports Tonight this Tuesday. Without wasting any more time, let's quickly go into the business of the night. Let's start by taking you to Calabar and talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Camp is bubbling. 18 players in camp. Nnamdi Oduamadi was the last player to come in, and now we're getting ready. Good news, Mikel is in, Onazi is in. We thought Onazi was going to be out, but Onazi is in, and that should be good news for us.
Yeah, it's very good news because Ogenye Onazi over the past 2-3 years has shown himself to be a particularly key member of the Super Eagles. He's very key in how Stephen Keshi likes to approach play. He's exceptional in pressing. When I mean pressing, chasing down the opposition, hunting the ball and retrieving it for the Super Eagles. That is his main function in the team. And when he's not there, you wonder who can fulfill that role. Definitely not Mikel Obi. Definitely not any of the other midfielders. So Ogenye Onazi particularly is very key on how the Super Eagles approach matches, and for me, the fact that he's in is fantastic. Full complement of players we hear has arrived in camp, so everything is set for the match on Saturday. And at this stage, obviously, it is not a question of teaching players how to trap, how to pass. It's just fine-tuning tactics. These are professional players who have played together for at least the better part of 2 years. And it's just a question of fine-tuning tactics that have already been used before and finding, the different ways of how to break down the opposition. At this level of football, you would have expected Stephen Keshi and his backroom staff to have scouted, the Congolese opposition, probably got tapes of their two-legged match against Rwanda, which they ultimately came through on through a technicality. So you expect them to be able to look at these two matches, assess the quality of the position, and decide how to go about breaking them down. At this point in time, this is what Stephen Keshi would nominally be doing, not necessarily assessing the fitness of these players. Most of them have gone through preseason. They're already playing active football at their club. So fitness is not an issue. It is just a question of fine-tuning tactics for match day.
Well, I'm getting signals that we have Ben Alaiya on the line to us from Calabar. Okay, I'm told that Ben is not online yet to us from Calabar, but we'll try to establish contact with Ben and try to find out a lot more about what is going on and what the schedule will be like for the team tomorrow. One thing we are sure of is that tomorrow the team will be meeting the media. That we are very sure of. It's a Wednesday and they will be meeting the media tomorrow. We will try to do all that we can to ask our people on the ground in Calabar to be part of it, and then we'll be able to send you the interviews with the key players tomorrow. But then another thing I want to also clarify very quickly, Yemi, is the fact that yesterday Ben told us they were not absolutely sure Vincent's replacement in the team. But immediately the show ended, we got wind of the fact that El Kanemi's goalkeeper, David Obiazo, has been called up as a replacement for Vincent Enyama. And the coach says that Vincent will be out, but Obiazo will be replacing him. I think Ben is on the line now. Ben, thank you for joining us on Sports Tonight. Well, camp is bubbling. Camp is bubbling, Ben. And I can see that you're also bubbling tonight. What can you tell us? Any other person being expected? Everybody in? Ready to swing fully tomorrow?
No, we still have 19 players in camp. We're expecting the rest this night. Emilike, Manuel is expected. Obiako is expected tomorrow. And of course, Joel will be. Those are the players we're expecting this night. Apart from Obiako, who will come in tomorrow. The other two are expected this night. 19 players trained. The last of them to come in this evening was Nnamdi Oduamadi. And so we have a nearly full house. We have at least 90% of the complement of players that are expected for this game.
Ben, can you give us an idea of how training went today? You told us earlier on that you had just a handful in the morning. By evening, everybody had come around. What exactly were you working on in training? How did it go with the coaches and the players? First day of full training for the game against Congo?
So we had a full training. We had half training in the morning because we had only 9 players in the morning training. 7 base players, and of course, Godfrey and the 3 others who came early. But this evening we had received more players. That is 10 came to join, and so we had a full training session. with John Mikel Obi, Jumon Shaniwa, that's in the change. All the big boys you can call, apart from Joel Obi and Emmanuel Emenike, are all in here, and we had a full training session. It was exciting. Yeah.
Well, Ben, let me ask you this one. I know it's not the job of the media officer of the team, but you are in with the team a lot of times, so you should be able to do some of the work of the coaches. Have you been able to find out exactly what Congo looks like? Because people are saying, we don't even know Congo. We don't know what they look like. Is the team aware of what they look like, and what dangers they pose to the Eagles on Saturday?
Yeah, we know that the Congolese are always a difficult side. And if you know the technical crew very well, they always go out of their way to get tips of these teams. They get technical details, at times written details. And don't forget that we have a video match reader who is also working with the team, who should have sent his own information about the team to the technical crew. And so I'm sure that the idea of the team, but we know that from the history of football, the Congolese team, whether it's Congo, Kinshasa, or Congo, always a very difficult side to play with.
Before I allow you to go, Ben, this one is an interesting one. Somebody on Twitter yesterday was asking us that what NFF are you guys working with, because there looks to be plenty of confusion going on. We don't know who to deal with. How are you guys preparing to go onto the pitch in spite of the distractions and still get the job done, not knowing exactly who you are dealing with?
No, the NFF secretariat is always intact. These are political times. But the secretariat is always intact. Don't forget that we have a very effective and hard-working team administrator and secretary, who work around the clock to ensure that the team is okay. And of course, the crossover state government has been very, very supportive of this team throughout the qualifiers for the last Nations Cup that we won, and even the last World Cup that we went to. This evening, the Commissioner for Sports, one of our kind, Honorable Patrick Kugbe, was there at the stadium to watch the team train alongside even the chief security officer of the state and the other officials, Dr. Emmanuel Ikeme, of course, director of technical. These are key officials of the secretariat. So we don't really have to. Nigerians don't have to fret about the team's condition. The conditions are very good.
Well, Ben, we wish you the very best of luck. Our greetings to the team, best wishes to the team. Let them go out there and do Nigeria proud on Saturday. But I'm sure we'll still get across to you a number of times before D-Day, that's Saturday, when we take on Congo. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Ben Alaiya. Ben Alaiya, of course, is the media officer of the Super Eagles, and he has filled us in with the latest coming from the camp of the team. Well, I'm happy because we've always talked about the football on the pitch, the football in the boardroom, not mixing up and not affecting whatever we do. But from the way Ben has spoken tonight, looks like we should be good to go.
And you wouldn't want to doubt him. He sounded excited, and based on that, although you might have to wait until when the game is played, but that's what we want, because initially I thought all of this is going on probably will begin to affect the players' morale and everything, but it sounded lively enough, and if that's how the players feel, then it will be good for us.
All right, let me read a few comments on Twitter very quickly before we go on to talk about a few other things that we have lined up for you. Eniola Olamide at DJ Lameko is asking, is Keshi back? I don't know if the salary saga is over. Olamide, where have you been? Keshi is back. Keshi is in Calabar. Keshi trained the team this morning. They trained the team again this evening, but Keshi is working without a proper contract for now.
So we see
it's a sacrifice.
Keshi is back for now.
He's back for now. But I'm sure things will be sorted out, and Keshi will be back fully to do what he loves to do. All right, people are saying Gabriel Abayomi at Gabriel 050714. That's unique. Maybe some special date for Gabriel. He says we can't talk about such transfer phrases in Nigeria when we are fighting illegality and corruption at the end of our football. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth.
We need to put our house in order.
Exactly.
Fight illegality and
the first
put structure in place.
The first causality when everything started was, okay, fine, no football. I mean, and that's what happens when all of this.
When the ban falls,
Yeah.
no football.
You see, the truth is that we are still, I've said it
A
before,
long way off.
we are still operating prehistoric football in Nigeria. For example, that the David Obiozo who was called up, I searched high and low for his picture today, I couldn't find. We don't even know the players who play in the Nigerian Premier. So how can you even create stars?
We know him.
Okay.
We
know him by name.
I've seen his picture, but it's not the kind of picture that I want to put out for people to see.
Okay.
Because it was the game between Academy and Barossa.